Okay, so how are you guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, what do you guys think about like the phone situation overall right now?
In school? Like, what do you mean?
In school, yeah.
I feel like it's not really working, to be honest. I feel like I've seen more people with their phones now than last year. But I feel like it's a better like solution to the problem than just like yawning out your video.
Okay.
I mean, when I'm teaching, I don't see any phones,
Okay.
which is the point. Right? It's not like before where it was just, they were out all the time and I wanted to like slap you over the head with them.
I think from like a non-teaching perspective, like being in the student center at lunch, for example, like they're out of control, right?
Yeah.
But in talking to teachers, they have said that it's gotten significantly better in classes where kids are not always with their phones out.
And there's also like not an argument when you call a BT. It's just like, I'm calling a BT. I don't even have to talk to you about this.
Okay.
And then they come and take the phone.
Yeah, I like having my phone down the jail cell.
I feel like it's like kind of successful and like it's kind of weirdly successful in different ways. Cause like I know the school, they wanted to like no phones, nowhere, not at all. I feel like that way is not successful, but I feel like in like a balance, I feel like it's good.
So, what would you think about having phones during lunch break, like allowing students to use their phones during that time?
I think part of the problem with the phones and the reason why we don't have them out or they're not allowed out during that time is because people were using them to like go meet up, to fight, to film, like all of that stuff, and that's just not, we don't want to go back to having that just be a free-for-all.
Okay.
I do think being at 2024 that we need to educate kids both at home and in school to use technology properly because they're a great tool to have. The problem is they're not being used properly.
Okay. You guys?
I feel like I would really enjoy it. Just a little break in the day because we don't get to use it at all. But I can understand why teachers don't really want that because fights happen all the time. So.
Do you think if we had phones only allowed in the senior center, do you think that would solve that issue of students going up to like go meet up with fights and schedule fights?
Maybe like a little bit. I feel like yeah, it would help, but there still would be like those rare few that do use it for really wrong like ways.
Okay, another question. If phones were to be allowed during break, should this apply to each grade or only high school students or even seniors only?
I would say seniors only.
Yeah, seniors only.
The lack of maturity in the younger grades is pretty astounding, really. Middle school, never. Like, they should never have their
Yeah,
phone.
I agree.
I agree with the middle school part. I don't know. I think freshman is really an extension of 8th grade.
Mhm.
But I think as you get older, maybe, again, it's the proper,
Or upperclassmen.
yeah, juniors and seniors maybe, but I think it comes down to educating students how to use technology properly. And maybe the consequences being more severe when, if you're found filming a fight, then your phone gets taken away like for the year or a month or whatever the consequence would be. I don't know. I don't see it only, I don't see that we could control that only seniors use it.
Yeah, I feel like the underclassmen will take advantage and start using it more and more and more, and they just become like how like the uniform is now. Slowly, it's like less uniform because like more people don't care.
Okay.
Well, then you would only, then it should just be seniors.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Because if you're in the lunchroom then and you have a phone and you're not a senior, and all the seniors want to eat in the senior center because they don't want to be in the cafeteria with all the riffraff, so I think that would be the only way you could
Or maybe
control
location gets changed, so you're only allowed to use it in the senior center.
Yeah.
So like if you're a senior eating lunch in the cafeteria, that means you're not gonna be able to use your phone there.
Would it be better for this, like being able to use phones, like would that be better for it to be a privilege or a right, like a privilege because privileges can be taken away?
privilege.
Yeah,
It's always a privilege.
Yeah,
I think a phone is a privilege regardless. You don't have the right to a phone,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
something that your parents allow you to have, and then you use it according to their rules, and then if you break those rules, then you get it taken away. That's why it can be taken
Yeah,
away.
if you leave it as a right, students will start protesting.
Yeah,
My rights are being violated.
Yeah, I feel like students are just trying to take advantage of it.
Your only right is an education.
Yeah.
That's really your only right. And the fact that like kids think that they have all these rights is bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't have rights. The only right you have is to be educated. And that's that.
Free and fair
Yeah.
education. Free and fair.
Do you think phones during lunch break could potentially decrease phone usage in class? I know you said that you don't see phones anyways, but I know some teachers still experience phone usage.
I think if anything, it would increase
Yeah, I
it,
was thinking
because
that.
then they'll have something that they were talking about at lunch,
Yeah,
and then they're
continuous.
done, and now we need to continue this.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like that has a
I
negative
agree.
impact.
Okay.
Like if I'm on my phone at lunch and I talk about like the newest episode, I'm gonna think about wanting to talk about it in
I'm gonna want
class.
to show it to you.
Right, I'm gonna wanna be like, hey, come on, look at my phone, like, come on.
Okay. Do you think there would be any changes in students' academics if phones were to be allowed during breaks?
I think it'll get worse.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
like it get worse because they like focus more on their phone than their academics. I feel like
Yeah, it would probably get like slightly worse.
I feel like students in a whole like tend to like draw their attention to something else. So I feel like adding something else would just make it negative.
I also think like, well, I remember when we first got the Yonder pouches, and I had a conversation with Miss Markowski, and she was like, every single kid in my class did their work today. Like, she couldn't believe it, because there was nothing else for them to focus on. So they all did their work. She's like, I got like 27 worksheets handed in. That had never happened to her before. So, there's that.
So following on to what you were saying, Ms. Tambro, because I remember you're talking about like teaching responsible use of phones. Could we potentially use lunch break as a time to do that, or like set up something to teach responsible use of phones, maybe to like younger students to maybe decrease the amount of times they use their phones in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's a place where it could be taught. I think it's not just a one and done, one place type thing. I think it starts at home. And then obviously, it can be reinforced in the school setting. I know we used to teach that technology class before about using technology properly, et cetera, et cetera. And I think those are all really important skills to know, because technology is a really strong tool that you could use to your benefit if you use it right.
Okay.
Do you think like we'd ever be like able to have a class like that on technological awareness?
We need to figure out how to bring that back somehow, because it was important. And more,
Well, and then including stuff like AI and
Yeah.
the way you can use it responsibly,
Yeah.
as opposed to just using it to
Especially
do your
like
work.
The direction we're going in more like technical Wi-Fi.
did you
Yeah.
also find that you were having more communication with your
Yeah.
peers?
Yeah,
I noticed like the volume in the hallway went up like
Yeah,
tenfold, because
yeah.
people weren't just like walking around like this.
and I feel like it opened more like opportunities for me to like do stuff like I'll go to like a computer class or like a reading class, or like I'll go to the library and I'll actually read a book instead of like being on my phone. I feel like it's more like man. I feel like it like makes me more involved with like the school as a whole.
Yeah, you can actually talk to people, the people listening to you before you listen.
Yeah, like I could go to like a red when I didn't have my phone, like I'd be bored, so like I didn't have nothing to do. I'd rather I'd go to Mr. Hef and mess with Mr. Hef, like, you had a good day, Mr. Hef. I feel like that was better than just me being on my phone and not
Right, not
contributing.
interacting with
Yeah.
anybody. Yeah, that's how I noticed, at least, that was the way a lot of people felt. It's like they were super pissed, and then they were like, wait a minute, this is actually not that bad.
Yeah.
I feel like the fact that like they didn't really care as much and made it better, because I feel like, not that like it was bad in general. I feel like towards the end of Yonder Pouches, they didn't really like check at all. Like they did not check like before they used to. I feel like me being able to have it in my pocket made me not like me knowing that I couldn't use it made me not use it at all, but it still gave me like the opportunity to use it if I needed to. So I feel like that really what made me like the Yonder Pouch more, I would say. But like it gave me the chance to like, I don't know, like, I feel like it gave me the chance to like, I don't know, like, I feel like it gave me the chance to like, I don't know, like, I feel like it gave me the chance to like, I don't know, like, I feel like it gave me the chance to like, I don't know, like, I feel like it gave me the chance to like, I don't know, like, I feel like it gave me the chance to like, I don't know, like, I feel like it gave me the chance to like, I don't know, like, I feel like it gave me the chance to like, I don't know, like, I feel like it gave me the chance to like, I don't know, like, I feel like it gave me the chance to like, I don't know, like, I feel like it gave me the chance to like, I don't know, like, I feel like it gave me the chance to like, I don't know, like, I feel like it gave me the chance to like, I don't know, like, I feel like it gave me the chance to like, I don't know, like, I feel like it gave me the chance to like, I don't know, like, I feel like it gave me the chance to like, I don't know, like, I feel like it gave me the chance to like, I don't know, like, I feel like it gave me the Cause like if I'm using my phone, I usually only use it like if I'm talking to somebody if it's important. So like I feel like that's what I really didn't like about the honor college, and I feel like towards the end of that's why I like what we're doing now.
Yeah.
We've been having it on us,
It's just
but
like
not-
honors.
Yeah, that's why I feel like what we're doing right now.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, Noel Moore.
And so like a lot of teaching is like outdated in terms of that, you know, that regard where, you know, you're going to colleges and they have whole majors on this stuff and, you know, we have surgeries done by robots and things. And so how to use all this AI in the correct manner so that you still have your critical thinking skills that you need to be successful in life, but also how can we use AI as a component to help assist us?
Okay. Well, that's all my questions I had. So thank you for being here and helping me with my capstone. And I'm thankful for you guys sharing your ideas.
You're welcome, Mr. Elmore.
So what's next for you? Like, what are you doing?